And all right, we're live.
Thank you. Good morning. I'd like to open our meeting today. This is Friday, August 18th, and it's 9:05 this morning. And welcome to our quarterly Hard of Hearing Task Force meeting. My name is Christy Abrams, and I'm the Hard of Hearing Specialist joining you from the Arizona Commission for the Deaf and the Hard of Hearing. A few important points. Our meetings are accessible. We have ASL interpreters, and we have communication access real-time translation, which is CART, or captioning, which gives hard of hearing people access to spoken language. So we want to make sure that everybody has accessibility. We have a full agenda this morning, and without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce everyone. I'm going to have everyone leave their cameras on for a moment, and I would like to call everyone's name, and then if you could please just acknowledge that you're here, and then after we're done with the roll call, if everyone could please mute your microphone and close your cameras, because that will give us the best visual vantage point so that everyone's able to see the face clearly of the speaker and also see Cartwell. And then when it is your turn to speak or to share, please feel free to turn your camera back on. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and call each of your names, and if you could just acknowledge that you're with us this morning. Commissioner Melanie O'Rourke.
Here.
Liz Booth.
Here.
Cynthia Emmerman. And Cynthia's here. And Barry Forrest.
Here.
And Ron Tallman.
Here.
And Commissioner Fred Williams.
Here.
And Roz Siebold.
Here.
Okay, and I know that Harvey is also here with us this morning. Harvey Smith is also here with us this morning. And I think, I'm just gonna look over my list. I think we have everyone. And I'm so excited to see you all this morning and grateful that you are here. And what I'm gonna have everyone do at this time is be sure to mute your microphones. And if you could turn your cameras off, that way you can see the speaker and the interpreter and CART clearly. Okay, wonderful. So we have a very full agenda, and I would like to start this morning by turning it over to our Executive Director, Sherry Collins. We're very thrilled to have you with us. And Sherry, if you would like to start right off and take it away. Thank you.
Christine, can you look, good morning, everybody. Technical challenges, you look in the chat. Harvey needs a phone number to call in.
Oh, okay. Let me get that for him.
No, let's wait for him to join.
Absolutely. Thank you. I didn't see that. Let me get that. So I think if you, Harvey, one thing that you might want to do is if you go out and come back in, it'll give you a list of the phone numbers. I don't have the phone numbers listed. I'm afraid if I click on my thing, it might close me out of Zoom. I'm trying to think of Ricky, do you have any suggestions? Let me see. Hmm. Okay. Okay, I think maybe I apologize. I'm not. One suggestion would be is to create a new invite and then the phone numbers would come up. I'm sorry, I don't have them on my calendar invite and I don't know why that is.
Can he listen through the YouTube? If he can see us in the caption on Zoom, can he open another browser for YouTube? Because we're on live. I know it's a little delay.
And I know Sharita did set up this particular Zoom meeting, so I don't know.
I see Harvey still on Zoom. His name is up here.
Harvey, do you feel it would work for you? Are you able to stream on Zoom and have the captioning and then stream that way to the computer or no? Would that work for you? Or YouTube, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think about the best way to.
Maybe we can just continue till he try to figure it out. We can try to continue, we want, and while he's trying to figure out his technical
Okay, I'm sorry, Harvey.
issues. Because we don't want to make everybody else wait, but I want him
Okay.
to, participate, but he's on Zoom, maybe he can't hear us, but at least if he can use captioning until he's trying to figure out another solution, because we don't have a phone number to call in.
Mhm.
Or update his Zoom app. Make sure you check your Zoom app. It may need be an update. So log out of Zoom, Harvey, if you're able to watch. See the captioning, log out of Zoom, make sure you update the software and then log back in. See that help?
And that might help too. Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Shay. And
Well, I apologize, everybody's waiting, so. All righty, well, good morning, everybody, and okay, hopefully Harvey caught what we said, log out, update the Zoom, and then log back in and see that help. Okay, so anyway, good to see all of you a few minutes ago, and I hope you're doing well. Well, we had our board meeting last night. Of course, some of you were there last night. And I wanted to talk about the Older Americans Act. And I know that Michelle or Christine or Nikki have shared some of the work we've done and our initiative. I have been working this actually initiative that I've started for the agency because it's something that I've been wanting to do maybe about 4 years ago, kind of start looking into it. And then COVID hit, a lot of things came up, then I really dig deep into this issue that had an impact in our deaf and hard of hearing, deafblind community who are older adults. When I talk about older adults, I'm talking about those who are 55 plus older. Those are the population I'm talking about. And so got lost down in the rabbit hole and really understand the federal level and how it affects the state level. So I'm going to give you a little background information just so you understand. The Older Americans Act is a federal law. And the funding is part of that federal law. And the funding, the responsibility goes to Administration Community Living, ACL. So Older Americans Act, OAA, ACL. Thank you, Michelle. She put a link on the chat. And then the funding from ACL goes to the state. For the state to get that funding, every state must have a state plan on aging. So 2 years ago, when I really got into this, I said, okay, what does Arizona state plan look like for us? Well, the timing was perfect because it was up for the next 5-year plan. So we submitted our proposal to be included in the next 5-year plan, which just started this year for the next 5 years. And we add a lot of information related to communication access in different areas in the state plan. To my knowledge, we're the first state in the United States to really focus on deaf and hard of hearing, deafblind communication access in the state plan on aging. So that was great. Then I was learning about the federal law. I said, okay, how does this work in the state and all this stuff? And every state funding is different. It's based on your population. So once the state gets that funding and how they use that money is different in every state. So it's not a one size all services across the board. It is up to the individual state. And a lot of people don't realize that. So I'm sharing that with you. So it's important for us in Arizona, pay attention to what happens in Arizona. So so I started looking into that in Arizona, got a state plan. Then I'm like, okay, I need to figure out the federal because there's a gap in Arizona, 3 services for our community. When they talk about people with disability that can receive services for Older Americans Act in Arizona, mainly mean physical, mobility, cognitive. That's it. Not us. It's mainly about that population. So that's when I realized there's a gap. So I went to look at the Older Americans Act and I said, okay, I got to get my hands on the federal level. Well, then I found out the Older Americans Act is up for reauthorization in 2024. So this is our opportunity to work with Congress to expand definition on communication access and services for our community. Once we are successful doing that, then that will affect the entire United States of America. Then it's up to the state how they implement those changes, okay? So I'm trying to map the process. So, long story short, I said, okay, I gotta find out who I can talk to, who in the Washington, DC. So I went to a conference in Atlanta last April. That was my breakthrough. I met some key people. So as a result, since April till now, I met with our Senator Mark Kelly. The reason why it's so important, Senator Kelly sits on a special committee on aging. So I have his attention. The staff are like all in. And I met with the staff just last month to a follow-up. I said, now I want to start strategizing for the 2024 reauthorization. Well, come to find out, Arizona's leading the way because other national organizations are not even talking about this right now. How about that? So, so what had happened in the last few months? There were a couple of notice proposed rulemaking. Remember I talked about ACL? ACL is the operation that oversees the Older American Act program and funding. They're the oversight administration. There were two notice proposed rulemaking. One related to Older Americans Act. One was related to home-based community service, Medicaid and Medicare. We filed, Arizona Commission for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing filed comment on that. Again, expand communication access for our community and all that. That was back in, I think in June, I can't remember exactly, but that was early in the summer. Shift this week, August 15th deadline was another notice proposed rulemaking for Older Americans Act with ACL, Administrative Community Living Rules. That's very important. So we took a different strategy. Because I am the state director, we have an organization of all different state directors in different states, like me, have a nonprofit organization called National State Agency Deaf and Hard of Hearing. And I used to be a president of that organization. Because I'm a member, I was leading this effort to create a document to work with national organizations to sign on that one document to file that notice proposed rulemaking. And we worked with the key organizations. We met virtually to talk about, provide feedback and everything. So I'm going to tell you who were invited. HLAA, Lee Hamlin, TDI, National Association of the Deaf, Deaf Senior of America, which is the national organization, and then a few other organizations are not national, but were very interested. So the key, and Gallaudet University. So the state that agrees to sign this letter, the document of recommendation, end up being, which is the organization NASHA, the National State Agency Service for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, TDI, National Association for the Deaf, National Senior Deaf of America, DSA, Deaf Senior of America, HLAA declined. They declined. Why? They were not prepared. They did not review or become familiar with the notice of approval making, because it was about 130 pages. Because I brought this to everybody's attention. So they declined. Well, naturally, I responded my disappointment. And I said, I'm sorry, I said, this is the perfect example why national organizations serving the deaf and hard of hearing need to do a better job working together on a national level on these type of issues. I mean, I feel very strongly about that. So, just the day that was due, I did receive an email from HLA. They went ahead and filed separately, but a very limited response because they didn't get to read everything. I'm sharing that with you to know that I made my effort, did my part, and I hope you, as a member of the hard of hearing community, who is a member of HLA and the national organization, need to keep an eye on that. And so I'm grateful that HLA ended up filing, but I was disappointed, very disappointed. So this is good because now we have comments filed, and I hope, we'll see who else is filed comments. But anyway, so this is a big thing. So our next step now is start strategizing the national movement on the reauthorization, and we'll keep you posted. But I just want to kind of give you an idea of the federal policy and the state. On the state level, I have to say our current governor administration, Governor Hobb and her team, have been fantastic. They are so accessible for me to talk to them. I've talked with the top leadership with the Division on Aging in Arizona. Their door is open. I think this is our opportunity to really get engaged with our local government and federal congressional rep. So I'm sharing that with you. I'll keep you posted, but I hope that wasn't overwhelming, but I'm going to leave it here and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sherry. And feel free if you have any questions to pop on and open your camera and turn on your microphone.
Michelle
Thank
been
you
busy
so
putting
much,
stuff
Sherry.
on the chat. Thank you, Michelle.
Does
Well,
anybody have
anyway,
there's Cynthia.
hi, Cynthia.
I'm sorry, this is on another issue. I keep missing a lot of the captions. A lot of the captions keep going off and then on, and long periods of time without captioning. So I'm sure people would have more questions if they had been able to read the captions. Many of them were missing.
Oh my God, hold on. Hold on. Oh man, how do I get out of this? We've been hearing complaints recently on the captioning with Zoom. Sometimes the AI will kick in. Okay. Can we do a separate link for the captioning? Here we go.
I just wanted to share that I did put the link. I know it's not as easy as to have it's better to have a captioning maybe, or easier to have it right in Zoom, but I did put the link in for the full transcript. So everyone can access that. And is anybody else having issues with just missing?
Did I repeat? That's horrible.
Thank you, Christy. I see the whole transcript now. But then it's missing something too. I'm just talking and it's not saying anything.
Christy, you're muted.
Muted. You're muted, Christy.
When I look at the transcript, I can see every word, but I'm wondering when I log into the transcript link, I can see everything that everyone's saying, but it might look differently depending on, I don't know.
Cynthia, when you see the show captioning on the bottom, do you hit that and hit full transcript?
Yeah, I did that, but you know, the full transcript was also having occasional problems with not coming up with the caption. So it appears that the full transcript is the same as the captioning. It'll go for a while, then it'll stop. And then sometimes there's a big period when it doesn't do the captioning. And I was pretty uncomfortable because I wanted to know exactly what you were saying. And I heard a lot of it, but it's unnerving when the captions disappear.
Absolutely.
Put another link in the chat, which is an external link. And you can pull up the full transcript. And if anybody would like Sherry to repeat, or I know what Sherry is sharing is very important, but if you click on the link in the chat, the Caption Pros link, that is an external transcript. So that might be helpful and give you the full, that one is showing every word as I'm looking at it. Are you? Barry?
I have a question for Sherry. As a member of HLAA, is there anything we can do at this point to diplomatically express our thoughts to support your efforts?
I am not trying to create, I don't want a war or anything. Lisa is a wonderful person. We get along very well, but she is on her way to retire. So, I don't know if HLA leadership, do you meet with the national on a quarterly basis? I don't want you to do anything right now, but if you see anything come across in your communication from the national office, make sure you raise those questions on what's HLA's position on the Older Americans Act. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a copy. Well, I'll have Nikki share Arizona's. We filed at the state plus the national. I did two things. So we'll share a copy what we filed in Arizona, and I'll have Nikki share that with Christy and Michelle, so all of you can see exactly what we submitted. I don't want you to do anything right now. I just want you to be aware.
Okay, thank you.
That I do want you to, for Arizona, I do want you to share with us, don't have to be, not today, but through email, through Michelle or Christy, if you see anything or experience anything that was the barrier, or know of somebody who went through a barrier of getting services, we want to know those stories. If you have some ideas that you would like to see that doesn't exist in Arizona, we want to hear that from you as well. So, we should focus on Arizona. Of course, we're the model in other states. So, so this is at the beginning. So this is really our time. I want to make sure Cynthia is following right now. Cynthia, if the captioning got any better? Cynthia, is the captioning better or is just?
Oh,
choppy?
I'm sorry, I have to unmute. Now it's on again. It goes off and then it comes on. And right when you were asking me, it had gone off. So, yeah, I just don't know what to do about it. I haven't had this problem of captioning before, ever. I mean, with the Zoom automatic captioning, sometimes they're horrendous captions, but but that's a different problem.
You know, I mean, I don't know if it's the internet issue, but there's a link in the chat. If you can open another window, you can see the caption instead of relying the caption on Zoom. If you can see the link, you scroll up, you'll see Michelle post the link that is directly from the captioner.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I want to make sure you're following. Back to what Barry was saying. You know, I want to focus on Arizona. So because we are a model for other, I mean, everybody's watching Arizona and what we're doing. So please, you know, keep that in mind. Any other question? Oh, I know. I'm going to say one more thing. By years 2035, the number of older adults will outnumber children. Do I tell people during my presentation meetings or the community, I said, think about how old you're going to be in years 2035. For me, I think about those things. And so do we need to be proactive to make sure we can change the policies so by the time we get older, we're helping other people? Michelle, Chrissy, have you shared our fact sheet that we put together?
I know, and Michelle might pop on too. I don't know if she has anything additional, but we did send out an email with a fact sheet, and we can definitely resend it, but we sent it out when it originally, and can send that out again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there's no other question, it was great seeing you all.
Okay, thank you so much, Sherry. Next on the agenda, I'm excited, and many of you know this very familiar face, but I'm excited to have PB Gent pop on with his camera and to join us. He is our new family service specialist. And PB, I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is PB Janet, and I am the new family services specialist for ACDHH. I am thrilled to be here today, and I am thrilled to take on this role. You probably are familiar with me from my time on the commission as a board chair. It has been my honor to now work on the other side of the fence internally with ACDHH. And it has been a great journey so far in terms of building the continued expansion of the family services that we have for ACDHH. Sonia, the previous individual who was managing this, did a phenomenal job of building the foundation. And now I am here to look to expand that even further. So far, I've already had a bunch of questions from parents and families about deaf and hard of hearing services for education in Arizona, including the Empowerment Scholarship account. I've also fielded some questions about needing some assistance for advocacy through the IEP meeting for the educational system. So I would like to think that since my time starting in March, we've already been off to a great start. And I haven't even implemented several of the bigger projects that I'm working on behind the scenes. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm really excited about what we have looking forward to for our accomplishment. If you have any questions or any concerns for me, please let me know.
Thank you, PV. It's been great working with you, and we're so lucky to have you here. And does anybody have any questions for PV before we go to our next agenda item? All right, well, thank you so much, and feel free to reach out to him regarding, he's being wonderful with our families and our kiddos, and we're lucky to have you, PV. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have the review and approval of our minutes. We last met in February, and so I had sent those minutes. And does anybody have any corrections or revisions or updates for those minutes? Anybody notice anything that needs changing or? And if not, if anybody would like to make a motion, Harvey's saying all looks good. If they look good, if anybody wants to make a motion for approval, that would be wonderful too.
I move we approve the minutes as read or as printed.
Thank you. Liz made a motion to approve the minutes, and was there a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Melanie. And Melanie has made a motion to second to approve the minutes. Wonderful. So our minutes are approved for February, our last meeting, which was February 17th, 2023. Thank you for that. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Nikki Sukup. And she's going to talk about public policy and community relations. Thank you for joining us, Nikki.
Good morning, everyone. I will continue on. I will talk about the Older American Authorization Act, because Sherry already did a great job of covering all those details. But what I will do is talk about what else we've been up to. So in Arizona, our legislator finally died on July 31st, which was a record-long session for the Arizona legislature. And hopefully next session won't go as long, but we didn't have a whole lot of action on our end, later on in the session, other than making sure that nothing popped up of concern. Currently, for the upcoming legislative session, we are still in conversation with stakeholder groups in regard to the coverage of hearing aids for those above 21. And there are groups, including the University of Arizona, and they are doing a comprehensive research project on gathering financial data, resource data, information from other states, a proposed model for Arizona, what that looks like. And so all of this information is coming together. So we are looking to propose legislation, maybe not this coming spring, but next year after that. As long as we want to make sure that we have the legislative support and all of the information ready to be delivered. On a federal level, again, Sherry covered the Older Americans Act. Earlier this summer, we submitted a recertification for the telecommunications relay service. And so in order to be able to continue to provide relay services throughout the state of Arizona. And the recertification was granted on July 25th. And it's good for the next 5 years. Currently, we are reviewing the Department of Justice proposed rule. The Department of Justice is updating the rules regarding the ADA in terms of accessibility on websites. And this is only more so toward Title II, and that includes state agencies. And so naturally, as a state agency, we are very interested and will be responding to their public comment. And also looking forward to seeing the rules being put in place because they are looking to adopt what's called WCAG, this website content guideline, and that is recognized on an international level. And it is not currently required, it's recommended. But when these rules are enacted, this will require an enhanced level of accessibility on website. So we're looking forward to that. There's also a bill that we're currently watching, and it's also in terms with technology and accessibility. And it's in the Congress. It was introduced to Congress already on July 25th. And so we're watching this bill. We will be will disseminate more information on social media as to ensure that everyone is aware of what's happening. Because what happens on the federal level ultimately will affect what happens on the state level. So again, as Sarah mentioned, it's important to be proactive in addressing these issues. So that's all I have for today.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Nikki? Or comments?
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you, Nikki. Okay, let's see. We have just checking out the time. I think I'm going next on the agenda is hard of hearing specialist report. So that's me. And I just wanted to start by sharing many of us had an opportunity to attend the HLA National Convention in New Orleans in Louisiana, NOLA. We had a wonderful time, and I was thrilled to learn when I was there that next year, the 2024 convention will be here in Arizona. So that's really exciting, and it'll be at the Sheraton Grand at the Wild Horse Pass. It'll be June 26th through the 29th. So hopefully all of you and many of our Heart of HLA members and across the state will be able to attend. I'm hoping we'll have a great attendance there. It's a wonderful convention. If you've never been able to attend, I hope you'll be able to go. I also wanted to mention July was such a busy month, and Ron can join me here. We were able to attend the Arizona ASL Total Immersion in July, and that was right after the HLA convention. So what an extraordinary experience. We were able to turn our voices off for 5 days, and we were really immersed in the ASL culture. And I hope I can go again next year. It was an extraordinary experience, and such a wonderful language and culture to learn about, and this is a great way to do it. So, and I was glad to have Ron there with me learning, and then Cameo joined in too, was there, and so it was great. If you've never done it, it's another wonderful experience to try. And if you have any questions on that, I can send information for next year. The other thing I wanted to share is the word seems to be out regarding our Hearing Healthcare Assistance Project. We call it HAP. So since 2022, we've had more than 400 people, 442 people have reached out to me for assistance with hearing healthcare. Of that group of people, I've referred 63 people for assistance to ASU. for hearing healthcare and help with hearing aids. And we just referred our first person up north to NAU speech and language department there. So it's exciting that we're expanding and we'll be able to be closer to people all across the state. Many of the people, there's a big number reaching out. Sometimes they don't realize that they can go to vocational rehab or maybe the Veterans Administration, Indian Health Services. And there's other, sometimes if they're over income for our project, I can send them resources for other national hearing aid programs. And then I always just really want to make that connection. So it's an ongoing conversation, and I give them information on HLAA, the Hearing Loss Association of America. We have 2 awesome chapters right here, as you know. And we have Hearing Other People's Experience, the Hope Group, which is online. That's a wonderful opportunity to connect. We talk about self-advocacy, assistive technology. I let them know about our phone program, and many hard of hearing people have never even heard of CART. So there's so much information to share, and that's a great starting point when they reach out to me for help. Let's see. Oh, Kim Menard, our deaf specialist, and I will be presenting next week at the Americans with Disabilities, or the ADA Update Conference, which will be here in Phoenix. And so I'm really excited to join Kim and present at that. It's a 2-day conference, and we will have a table there, and excited to make connections. And it's just another opportunity for us. Also next week, I have a presentation with Cooling Media, which is a digital marketing and advertising agency. And Michelle knows a gentleman that works there, and they've reached out to us for a presentation. As many employers do, they want to learn more about making the workplace inclusive and accessible. And in this particular case, they want to know what they need to keep in mind for marketing and advertising for people who have disabilities. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. I'll be presenting at the HLA West Valley chapter on October 10th. So I always love to visit our chapters here, and looking forward to that. And I'm just going to say one more thing. I know we have a lot more to go, but this is a little bit of ending on an entertainment note. But one thing that came to my attention, and I thought this might make you smile. Some of you may be familiar with the franchise The Bachelor. This is a romantic reality television series, but you might want to tune in on September 1st, because it's going to be the Golden Bachelor, and his name is Jerry Turner. He's 71 years old, and he's from Indiana, and he wears hearing aids. So I just thought that's going to be really fun, and it's great to see people out there representing and teaching people that, hey, hearing aids are cool, and this is how we navigate being hard of hearing. So we're going to have a hard of hearing bachelor. So that'll be a fun thing to tune into. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions for me, feel free to let me know. Let's see, and I'm looking at our time too. Got a few minutes before 10.
Yes.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, Christy. I know at one point people were talking about including Tucson and the University of Arizona in the outreach and healthcare access. And I just wondered if there's anything I can do for you toward making that a reality. I know it really is up to the ACDHH to communicate with the U of A, but at the same time, we have run projects with the U of A and had a good relationship with them. And so I'm hoping that your outreach is going to get broader and further south.
Yeah, and I don't know if Michelle wants to pop on and share anything more. Michelle, do you want to join us for a second? There she is.
Sure. Hi. It's Michelle here. Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, Mel.
Hi. Yeah, we actually work with Nikki's team. Nikki manages or directs our public policy and community engagement. And so Nikki's team works with the PIOs, the public information officers for the universities, in coordinating some advertisement and outreach about the expansion of the Hearing Healthcare Assistance Project. And so you know, we defer to Nikki. That's her area, but definitely support that. And then, you know, people are already hearing about it. Word of mouth travels fast. The social workers find out and talk to each other, which is great. Which means Chrissy's is going to be busier than ever. But yeah, we coordinate a lot of, just like we did when this started with ASU. And we did some radio interviews and had a lot of print articles and things. But we work directly through Nikki's group, Public Policy, Community Engagement, and the university PIOs.
Thank you, Michelle. Does anybody else have any more questions for me? Okay, and if not, Michelle is up next, and I think we'll let Michelle go, and then maybe after you, Michelle, we'll take a little break. But I'm going to turn it over to Michelle, our Hearing Healthcare Program Manager.
Okay, thank you, Christy. Yeah, so I'm going to keep this brief, and then we can take a little break and then jump back into the rest of our meeting. I'm just going to look at my notes here, just make sure I cover everything. I know we haven't met since February, and so I just kind of want to update you on a lot of the outreach and education that my team have been engaged with. In February, Christy co-presented with Kim, our deaf specialist, and Victoria, who is in our licensure department, to Department of Child Safety staff in Prescott. We did it on Zoom because, you know, we sometimes see issues with deaf parents of children, and Department of Child Safety not quite understanding how all that works. So they teamed up and delivered a great presentation in February. And then Christy hit the road and went down to Tucson with Kim, our deaf specialist, and presented to the nursing students at Pima Community College. And that was our healthcare curriculum that she presented at that point, which is a very set curriculum that we have. The nursing students love that. They always ask us down a couple times a year. We've also had some booths out at different events. Vicki on my team, Vicki, our phone program lady, she staffed our booth at the Scottsdale All Things Senior Expo in March, and then ran out to the Red Mountain Senior Center in Mesa and had a nice booth out there. And then also in March, Christy did a presentation to residents at Christian Care Manor here in the Valley, and then delivered a presentation virtually to the Aloha group. And then in March, as you know, because many of you attended, we had our wonderful Age of Access Expo, the very first expo for older adults who are deaf, hard of hearing, deaf blind, or have combined vision and hearing loss ever in Arizona, where people obtained a lot of health information. We had a fantastic presenter talk all about dementia and hearing loss. Just a great presentation there. So we're going to be doing that every year. Let's see, gosh, in April, Vicki staffed our booth at the Arizona Speech and Language Hearing Association. It's called ARSHA. It's the Arizona organization for ASHA. ASHA is the national one. And so she got to talk with a lot of speech language pathologists, a lot of audiologists at that conference. So that's really a good way for us to get out and get known by professionals as well. One of the other things that Vicki and Kim did, again, Kim is our deaf specialist. So sometimes my team will do individual presentations. A lot of times we work together with our other team members. And so Vicki and Kim teamed up They had a whole hour to talk with folks from the Banner Poison and Drug Information Line, which you can call anywhere in Arizona. If you took a wrong pill or took your dog's pill, or, somebody's, not responding correctly or something, just call the Banner Poison and Drug Information Line, and they answered just like that. And they wanted to know more about relay calls, Arizona relay calls, video relay calls, all of that. And so Kim and Vicki talked to them, and that was really great training. And then one of the really fun things that Christy did in, I think it was April. Yeah. So Sonia used to be in our family services area, and she's transitioned out, and PV has taken over. So PV was still in training, and Sonia was there, and PV was there, and Christy was there, and they went to Gilbert Public Schools and presented, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times in one day, total of 650 kids, talking to them about how we hear, how to protect our hearing, how deaf kids communicate, how hard of hearing kids have hearing aids, all of that. It was great. The kids loved it. 650 kiddos in one day. So that was amazing outreach. And then, gosh, in May was Better Hearing and Speech Month. And I went over to the West Valley HLA chapter, and it was a really fun presentation because I got to talk about my 30-year career in this field. I started working in the field of deaf and hard of hearing services in 1993. And so I've been doing this for 30 years, and it was a really great presentation. I always love it when Melanie and Fred invite me over there to the West Valley. So that was great. And then what else did we do in May for Better Hearing and Speech Month? Oh, Christy went over to Fellowship Square, which is a senior living community, and then went over to Westward Ho. These are senior living communities that have a lot of low income folks. And so we really try to target those low income areas because these people don't have access to a lot of information and resources. So when we go out, we talk about everything the agency does, and then we'll narrow in and focus on certain things related to the hard of hearing. So she did that. And then also the City of Phoenix Retirement Office attended a virtual presentation from Christy and I, where we talked about the hard of hearing community. How do you communicate with a hard of hearing employee or the spouse of an employee who, and that spouse might be hard of hearing, as they're getting towards retirement, planning their retirement, investments, those kinds of things. Kim Menard, our deaf specialist, did the first training with them, just focused just on deaf and deaf blind, and that was an hour. And then they had a second training a few weeks later, and they focused on the hard of hearing. So that was a really good exposure with that group. And we always love it when, departments and agencies, organizations ask us to present, because we're subject matter experts. We're living the experience. We know this stuff, and we present totally free. And at all of our presentations and all of our booths, if we have a deaf staff member or deaf people attending, we have sign language interpreters. We always have CART, the gold standard of captioning, at every event, virtually or in person. So we really want to show that role modeling kind of thing. Lastly, a couple things in July. Vicki went over to Fellowship Square and talked just about the phone program. Again, we have this wonderful free phone program, landline phones, Bluetooth headphones, Bluetooth devices that connect with your smartphone, signaling devices like the Square Glow, things that will alert you to your phone. Also have alerts for the doorbell and bed shakers for alarm clocks. So that's all kind of in with that phone program device. And then also Arizona State Parks. They reached out to Vicki and wanted to know more about the relay service. And again, that's one of the areas that I manage, is outreach and education for relay. So Vicki joined on with several of their folks, because Arizona State Parks wants to make sure that they are accessible to all people with all disabilities, whether it's mobility, sensory, anything like that. So again, love working with our Arizona State partners in learning about the deaf and hard of hearing. And lastly, in July, there's an organization called APCO NENA, APCO NENA. Weird name, but what it is, it's all the 911 operators, all of that emergency response stuff, phone line stuff. And they had a big conference. And Kim and I presented about deaf and hard of hearing. What do you do when you get a deaf or hard of hearing caller? How is that text to 911 going? All of that. So we talked to a bunch of 911 operators, and Carmen Greensmith, our deputy director, attended the executive level management meeting so the managers of these facilities, these 911 centers all over Arizona, and she was able to talk to, I think, 35 or 40, on that kind of executive level, manager to manager kind of level, talking about the importance of making sure that your communications are accessible to deaf, hard of hearing, deafblind, and CVHL, which is combined vision and hearing loss. So we're just out there doing a lot in the community, having a lot of clients. Christy has more than one new person every day contacting her. Vicki is very busy with the phone program. We've had a lot of deaf people applying for one of our newer devices, the Square Glow alerting device. So that's really great to see. And again, Christy covered it about the Hearing Healthcare Assistance Project. Sherry also mentioned that in our board meeting last night and this morning. We're expanding now to 3 locations throughout the state, and really happy that we're able to serve low-income adults who just don't have any other resource for hearing aids and hearing healthcare. It's not just about the ear. It's not just about the hearing aid. It's about oral rehabilitation, AURAL, learning how to advocate for yourself, how to go to the movie theater and get the captioning box, how to, figure out how to communicate better with your spouse or partner. So all of that is a component of what we're doing with the state universities. So, all right, I'm going to stop here so we can all take a break, and Christy will take over from here.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Okay, so it is 10:08. So how about if we go until maybe go until 10:15. So that way it would be good to come right back on 10:15. And then I just want to share, up next will be Aloha with Cynthia, and then we'll hear from the HLAA chapter leaders. So I'll see everyone back at 10:15. Thank you.
Great.
Welcome back, everyone. I know Cynthia will be joining us in just a moment. Welcome, Cynthia. Thank you for.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I have a few things to tell you about what's happening at Aloha recently. We are opening up our conference room to more people. We had, say, 4 to 6 people at a time, although that didn't happen often because we have a Zoom and lots of people are interested in on Zoom instead. Hybrid meeting, and however, we're going to have an opening reception on October 3rd for our members to come to the building again and try to get them interested in coming back to being with each other in person. Let's see, we're also looking to have speech reading classes again, and also ASL class. Looking for an ASL teacher. So if anybody knows of somebody in Tucson area who could do that, I would be most appreciative. Let's see, Jim Lutens is our Alliance team leader of the Aloha team for the Walk for Hearing this year. And we are looking forward to that again. I was afraid I might not make it to the Walk for Hearing because the ALDA convention is from, it had different dates, but now it's from October 30th to November 3rd. And Ken Arcia is going to that, and Ken and I are both flying back on Friday for the Walk for Hearing. Ken is going to speak to us in October about what he does at the ACDHH. And another speaker we have lined up for this year, this season, is Lou Touche is going to speak in March at the third Tuesday speaker about Aloha. It's our 40th, on the very date of our 40th anniversary. So we're looking forward to that. What else? All right. Oh, we're going to probably be working on a big project, but that's going to be for spring because I still am a deacon at the side, and I'm resigning at the end of the year, so I will have more time for Aloha. It's been tough doing both things at once. I like them both, and there's only one of me. So Aloha Readers is taking up book club again, and we will start with True Biz, which I know Fred Williams has read. It's a different kind of thing than we've done before, and we're hoping that it's going to be received well, but it's a wonderful book. I've read it. Fred sent me a copy a long time ago, and it's terrific. I think that's about it. Yes, that's it for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Does anybody have any questions regarding Aloha and Tucson or for Cynthia? All right. Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you, Christy.
Okay, up next, we have Commissioner Melanie O'Rourke, who's also our president for the HLA West Valley chapter. Thank you, Melanie.
Hi there, Christy. Thank you. Our board has been meeting quite a few times during the summer. We're looking at maybe doing some restructuring of our chapter meetings. They will be in person starting in October, the second Tuesday of the month, October 10th. And we will be having remote captioning. We have determined that that is what's available and what is the best for us. And we'll be working with our tech people at the church and have the remote captioning. We do have many of our presenters confirmed, and we're looking at trying to get out a listing of the whole year of presenters, so people can see the whole calendar, and that should be coming shortly. Fred Williams is going to be starting up the book club again, which will be on Zoom. I'm thinking Monday afternoon, same time, same date, but we'll get that information out on our website and in our emails to people as we go. And one of the things we did, one of our scholarships this past year was looking at providing a scholarship to a hard of hearing or deaf high school senior who is going on to a secondary education, whether it would be community college or a four-year college. And we received a few applications, and we were able to provide a scholarship to help a gal from the Arizona School for the Deaf and Blind attend Gallaudet. I just was in touch with her mother, and they will be heading to Gallaudet on Sunday, and they were pretty excited. So we were happy to be able to do that in addition to the scholarship that we provide for a graduate audiology student at ASU. And yeah, I think that's about it. We're looking forward to having our meetings in person, and that's where we're at. We'll be meeting again in September pretty soon. We'll be part of the Walk for Hearing. Ron, I will get that information to you. We're just running a little behind here. But I think that's it for the West Valley.
Thank you so much, Melanie. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Melanie? Okay. And if not, Ron, we'll let you take it away for the East Valley and also
Thanks,
give us
Christy.
an update on the Walk for Hearing.
Thanks, Christy. The big news for the Sun Lakes chapter is we changed our name. We're now called HLAA East Valley Chapter, and everything has been done. We have new logos, and it's been approved by the national organization. We're just waiting on the IRS, and they've already asked for 2 extensions before they do their approval. So hopefully we'll hear something before maybe mid-September before we start up again. We concluded our last season back in May with Dr. Sims and Amanda Mason. Dr. Sims implanted Amanda with a cochlear implant, and Amanda Dr. Sims interviewed Amanda, and it was on YouTube, and it was very well done. And Amanda was there to answer questions. It was just a great meeting. We've averaged through that season about 30 to 32 people attending our chapter meetings. So they picked up. We're doing pretty good. Next year, we will start working on guest speakers for the upcoming season. We're looking at subjects as hearing loss and dementia, traveling with hearing loss and balance issues, and over-the-counter hearing aids, to do an update there as to where we're at and where it's going. We also concluded our scholarship program. Just for those that don't know, we give a scholarship to 1 audiology student at the 3 major colleges or universities here in Arizona. That's AT Still, ASU, and U of A. We will finish up U of A in September, I believe. We'll go down there and do a presentation, but that wraps that up. Hope will still be our next chapter meeting starts up in October 12th. October 12th will be our next chapter meeting. Hope will kick off October 26th. And I think that's about it for us on the chapter. I will now go on and talk about the Arizona Walk for Hearing. It would be held November 4th, 2023 at Riverview Park, same place that it's always been years past. Our goal for this year is $60,000, and we have raised to date just over $5,500. What is really nice to see here is that we already have 101 registered walkers and have formed 17 teams. So in that realm, we're moving right along. It looks very well for this year. If you're interested in participating in the Walk for Hearing, you can register at www.walkforhearing.org. And I think that's it. We have been very busy putting this walk together, getting out and meeting people that we hope will participate and sponsor us. It's been a lot of work, especially do this during the summertime when it's so hot. Does anyone have any questions for me about the Walk for Hearing or HOAA East Valley chapter? Yeah, Roz, go ahead.
It's not a question, Ron, but I just wanted everyone to know that Ron was recognized at the National HLAA meeting for his work on the walk. So
thank you, Roz.
You work hard and deserve the recognition.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to Rod. It was wonderful to see you win that award at the National Convention, Ron, and we are so fortunate to have you here in Arizona. So thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything else that they want to share or questions for Ron? Okay. Next up, we have Harvey Smith. And Harvey, if you could tell us a little bit about your role, and I know you're going to tell us all about employment.
Right, so I am the business service representative for Arizona at Work, Maricopa County. I cover three major sectors: healthcare and social services, insurance and financial services, and then IT. The unemployment rate in Arizona is 0.1% higher than the national average, but inside Maricopa County is below the national average. So the rural communities are having a harder time than those of us who live near Phoenix. We're still seeing wage inflation for a lot of jobs, so pay raises are still happening. People are getting offers, which are nice. Now, whether they're enough to keep up with the cost of living that we're all seeing is an entirely different question. I don't have a crystal ball for that one. We are seeing layoffs in the mortgage sector as housing sales slow down, and we're seeing layoffs in IT as a lot of IT companies overhired during the pandemic now have too many people, and a lot of us consumers want to have an in-person experience, not a digital one. So we're now going back into stores, and so these companies have too many IT kind of people. Now this is a problem for entry-level IT people because they're now competing with newly laid off folks who have many years of experience. So that's probably the only dark cloud I see at the moment. one thing that we are seeing is a lot of recruiters and a lot of HR people are coming to us and saying, our team, our company has a big diversity inclusion push, and we think we've got everybody, and then we forget folks with disabilities. And I have to bite my tongue to what I want to say. If you're not including disabilities, you're not doing diversity correctly. But it's been good in that we are getting quite a few questions about that. So big shout out to the Commission for their support and help with that. So that's really the work side of my situation. On a personal note, you saw earlier today I was having trouble connecting my new hearing aid to Bluetooth, but I figured that one out. But on an even more exciting note, next month I will be getting a service dog. I'll be getting a hearing dog, and I will be going for training in September for a couple of weeks up in Colorado. And hopefully next time you see me, you'll see me with my service dogs. So looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Harvey. I hope you'll keep us posted on your service dog. And, you know, I know we all at times experience those challenges with technology and trying to figure out the best way to connect and have access. It happens to all of us. And that's why it's so great that we can be here demonstrating it and talk about it and show how we problem solve and work it out. So thank you so much, Harvey, and we appreciate you. And you're such a great resource for us here to have. And I wanted to say, you know, you had shared our position that we have on the job board. So we appreciate having that connection with you. Such a great resource. Thank you. All right, and I know that Michelle had messaged me. She wanted to add something. Michelle, I'm going to have you pop on.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I was hoping. Oh, let me turn myself up. I gotta there. All right, my hearing aid's on the right volume now. I was like, "Where's my voice?" So yeah, I wanted to make sure if we had some additional time. This is kind of where we share information, resources, announcements, that kind of thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about the hearing aid market in the United States. I have some very recent research information about that, and I'm going to look at my notes here. So, you know, during COVID, the hearing aid market took a dive. You know, everybody was locked up at home and nobody was going out, and so, you know, in general, people pretty much every year, the market increases a little bit. People are aging. 10,000 people turn 65 every year, every day rather, so there's just a slow incline of people getting hearing aids. And then over-the-counter hearing aids came onto the market last October, December, when they started hitting the market. So I was interested in what was happening with the marketplace. And so after the 2020, 2021 kind of area where it kind of dipped down, people started going back out. We had our vaccines and things, and the market has increased to every week in the United States. 6,400 more hearing aids are being sold now. So the market from last year to this year, calendar year 2023, is estimated to grow 7%. How much of that is over the counter? It looks to be about 1% of the market are going to the over-the-counter hearing aids, which are not prescription. There's not an audiologist or hearing aid dispenser involved, but about 6% or so are going to that prescription hearing aid. So every year in the United States, there are about 5 million hearing aids sold. And how that breaks out is into, 17% of them are through VA, Veterans Administration. And about 4% of those are paid by Medicaid, In our state, it's called Access, AHCCS. That's the name of our Medicaid program. Our Medicaid program only covers people under the age of 21 for hearing care. Managed care, which is a different type of insurance, counts for about 22% of the hearing aid market. And then about 57% is out of pocket. So that's kind of how that breaks out. It's very interesting that of what is estimated to be about 40 million people in the United States who have hearing loss that could benefit from treatment. There's and that's all ages. So, 18 plus. A lot of those are mild hearing loss. We're always concerned about a mild hearing loss in any age. With children, absolutely. But with even adults, why is there a mild hearing loss? Is there an ototoxic component? Is there a noise exposure happening? We want to be able to get in and stop that hearing loss from progressing if we can. That moderate hearing loss, when people get to that level of moderate hearing loss, that's when they really start getting hearing aids. About 50% of the people who have a moderate hearing loss will get hearing aids. Again, in hearing healthcare, we really want to see people, getting into hearing aids, cochlear implants, whatever, at some level treating their hearing loss so that they can stay engaged and involved in community. When we get to that profound hearing loss, about 6% of the 40 million people who have variable levels of hearing in the country, about 6% have a profound level, and 70% of them actually wear hearing aids. So what we're finding is, obviously, the more significant the hearing loss is, the more apt a person is to get into hearing aids, getting to maybe cochlear implants, and that makes sense. But with the over-the-counter hearing aids, that's really addressing the 18 and over market with that mild to moderate. And that's a self-perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. That's just what they think that person thinks they have. No, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't hear unless you actually get a hearing test. At the commission, we always recommend that you get a really good hearing test from a licensed hearing healthcare provider. You're not required to with the over-the-counter hearing aids, but that really do know what level that if you need treatment now, if there's something that can be done to intercede. But that's just kind of some statistics on what the market is looking like. It continues to progress, and we're looking at probably a 7% increase year over year. I say we. I am not a licensed audiologist or hearing aid dispenser. I do not sell hearing aids. ACDHH does not. But we in the hearing healthcare arena is what I'm referring to. So just wanted to share that information with you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I'll turn this back to Christy.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to open it up. If anybody has any announcements further or any other information that they wanted to share, please feel free to turn your camera on and let us know. Ron.
Just two events that are coming up that Barry and I are going to go out and represent HLAA and the Arizona Walk for Hearing. Is we got the AT Still Ear Day that is coming up on October 14th, and the Arizona Association of the Deaf Conference is coming up on October 21st. And we will be at both events.
That's great, Ron. Thank you. Very important announcements. The other thing that I'm thinking too that might be helpful since we just have a few more moments, it might be helpful. Our next meeting is set for November 17th. 2023. It'll be much cooler then, cooler weather on the horizon. I just was thinking for this meeting, it might be helpful if everyone joins on Zoom, we have a little bit more time to pop on and make sure that we're all connected, that we're able to see Cart, and that we're able to connect or stream and whatever we do. So next meeting, I'm going to allow more time for that. So make sure that everyone is good to go. And I think having a little more time will help us to do that. And because we all want to have the best access that we can. And we definitely want that for everyone. Does anybody have anything else that they want to add before we close out? We have time if anybody has any other thoughts or questions or ideas. Michelle's sharing a lot of helpful links in the chat. Michelle?
Harvey, our man on the job, the guy who always has all the employment stats we love, Harvey had said, yeah, hi Harvey, you had said you wanted some information about working with a service dog. I did put in Diamond Dogs of Arizona, which is here in the Valley. But Melanie, I'm going to defer to you all who have official service dogs.
I just saw that too, Michelle, and I was going to suggest to Harvey that if he has any questions to reach out to Christy with Diamond Dogs. And one of our members, our secretary, Shannon, is now also involved in training at Diamond Dogs. And some of you know these past couple of weeks have been a bit overwhelming for me because I was doing some puppy babysitting. It's been a long time since I've had a puppy, and I really forgot all the things I had to remember, but I learned them very quickly. Anyway, long story short, I had a chance to take her to one of the classes, you know, just as a drop-in. And I got a couple of skills to work with her a little bit better while my son and his fiance came back from their travels. And I was very happy to send her off. So the long story short is, I think puppies are for young people, just like babies. And if I ever get another hearing service dog again, it'll definitely make sure it's one that's well trained. But Diamond Dogs is a great resource right here in Phoenix.
Thank you for that information, Melanie. That's a good reminder. I know myself just having a puppy this last year, it's a lot. It's my first dog ever. And so I'm going to be looking into those resources as well. Stella and I need all the help we can get. Okay, does anyone else have anything else before it's 10:42? So we have a few more minutes. If anybody else has anything they want to add or any suggestions for our next meeting, feel free. You have my email, so I'll reach out at any time. Never hesitate. Okay, well, I appreciate everybody's hard work and input. We're so fortunate in our state to have your leadership, and Ron has his camera on. Ron, did you want to add something? No? Okay. Yeah, if everybody wants to turn their cameras on, we can just wish everybody a wonderful weekend and see everybody's faces. I do miss seeing everybody's faces.